If you've made it to this second video, thank you. One of the things I want to do in a lot of my YouTube series are to show processes in real time. This way you get a good idea about how long it will take you to do the process and you can plan more accurately for your projects. Where we started with this, a simple dome, and trying to fabric wrap it. This item was wrapped probably a couple of months ago and it's held up well. There's a nice edge detail to it, get this to focus, and it's crimped quite nicely. But one of the things you'll see is this is the item we wrapped in the first video. Now, if we remember back to when we had the print of it, it's actually quite rough and you can feel it on the surface, but you can't necessarily see it. What you've got is you've got some quite nice corner details, so you can see how these sharper details are picked up on it, and this lip detail is caught incredibly well. There are a couple of loose areas like here where you've got a slight bit of folding, but actually these folds happen on the inside like we discussed, not on the outside. So the thin fabric using spray mount did a relatively good job. The only things I will do on this later is cut the feet out and add some rubber feet in just to make this item look finished. But overall, that's gone incredibly well. Today's tutorial is going to use the same incredibly poor quality print, so get that to focus. The same poor quality print, but what I'm going to use is this, a thicker fabric. This is a thicker weave fabric, it's more dense. And what I want to do is see if this will hide some of those blemishes better than our thinner fabric. The other difference in this tutorial is we're going to trial some contact adhesive. The reason being, I just want to see if it's got a better bond, if it's got a better working time. So in the conclusion we can tell you what works best and make a good recommendation for how you can wrap some of your products. Okay, so again in this video, if you're using any kind of aerosol, you should use it either outside or in a well-ventilated space. I'm in a well-ventilated space and I'm going to be using a respirator while spraying. As discussed, we're going to use contact adhesive on this one, and you'll note I've got more paper down. That's because this is a slightly messier process. I'm guessing I might see some seep through the fabric, but it will create a stronger bond in the end. So once again, shake your can thoroughly, put on your respirator and start spraying. I'm going to use the same process as last time, gluing the top down first and then working my way to the sides. I'm going to use the same jig to clamp it down, and then hopefully we can do a direct comparison between the two fabrics and the two glues. A couple of things to note with contact adhesive are you have a variable nozzle, so if I can get that to load. You can go between a wide or a narrow nozzle, so that adjusts your spray. The other thing to note is that you should leave it a few minutes to go tacky before applying it. So in the case of this can, it's suggesting that you spray from about 6 inches away and you leave it for 30 seconds. It says apply to both surfaces. In the past I've tried it on the fabric and I find it works better when spraying with fabric that you apply it to one surface. This is only because it will bond better. Now what I'm going to do hopefully is slide this back slightly to give myself a slightly cleaner working area. Get my fabric and drop it on. So what I'm trying not to do is get it covered in the excess of this. Again, find my 4 feet and work into them and then start working this around. Now what I'm finding with this is I'm starting to get some ripples a bit earlier than I was in the last one. And the reason is this fabric's slightly thicker. So again, hold it over. We've now got the item glued. So let's spray the last bit. immediately what you'll see is that it soaks into the fabric where it directly contacts the fabric, here and here, and this might actually seep through, so this might be a reason not to use it. But again, I'm going to turn it over. I'm just going to start working my way down, working my way around with this. So again, coming to the end, pulling it up. And once you get some kind of marks like that, start pulling it through. What I'm trying to do is get my initial stretch into the fabric, my initial grip into the fabric, just so that I know that when I trim it, I've got most of it there. Now, this isn't the nicest fabric to work with, I'll be honest, it's slightly tougher, but luckily because of the depth of this product, it looks like I should be able to pull out all these creases. But as you can see, the higher up you get, the more likelihood there is that the creases will stay. And that might, if we're unlucky, end up being some staining there where the spray's gone through. So I'm just going to do is I'm going to open it out slightly. And because the glue's a bit stronger, this one does open out quite nicely. And I'm just going to quickly run around my edge. And voila. Okay, so now let's start doing that final fold, that final bend over the top, working it in, trying to work all these marks out. Now you'll hear the print's cracking and making a lot more noise than the last time. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's the solvent or it's just this print. That's something we'll definitely check on later. Now again, as I start putting in, just do my last few checks, and like with the last one I might end up putting this top on a couple of times. This top does feel tighter on this one, but again the fabric is marginally thicker. Let's see if we can actually get it all the way on, so that will help tighten it. Okay, got a crease there, got a crease there. Just going to whip it off quickly and try this again. So start at the more awkward side and work it in, work it in. Nope, actually there isn't enough gap in this one, there isn't enough tolerance, so that's a useful thing to note. Make sure my feet are stuck down, and just like with the last one, I'm going to leave it to dry. And what you'll notice is we have a couple of different fabrics, a couple of different textures. Once these are dry, we can go back and compare them together. But thank you for watching, and if you enjoy what you see here, consider subscribing, because we're going to have more videos coming out with different processes and techniques. Thank you.